I'll just introduce another little point about having multiple groups that you will see. Now, if you remember when we had two or more methyl groups, we talked about dimethyl, trimethyl. The same applies here, although in this case, the alcohol is at the end of the name. So this has got 3 carbons, so that would normally be, well, if you had one alcohol, that would be pentanol. But now we have 2 groups. This does change the name in a subtle way. So whereas before, if we only had one alcohol group, you might have called this prop, and if we only had one group, 1-ol. Now we have 2. Now 2, di, that would be a diol. But once we start referring to di, tri, tetra at the end of the name, we actually put the E back in here. It's a very small point. You probably wouldn't lose a mark for forgetting that in an exam. But if you look at these online and in books, you will see them referred to as such. So we have 3. So it would be propane. Propane. Now, these are on either end, so it doesn't really matter here if this is carbon 1 or that's carbon 1, because they will always be 1 and 3. So it'd be propane. Remember, words and numbers separated by a dash. So propane 1, comma, 3, because it's word, number, number, word. So it's propane dash 1, comma, 3 dash diol. Now, when you're doing this, you have to make sure that you remember that if you see 2 of the same group, you need to see the di or tri if you have 3. And if you're talking about di anything, you need to see 2 numbers, even if they were the same number. If both the alcohols were on the same carbon, then it would be propane 1,1-diol. So you must have a number. You must number each carbon that an alcohol is on, even if they're all on the same carbon. Now just look at this one down here, just to reinforce this a little further. Here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons. So that's butane. We've got 2 alcohol groups, so it will be a diol, but we've also got this methyl group. So how are we going to number this? We've got butane, and it will be a diol. Butane. Now, is this carbon 1 or is that carbon 1? Now, this OH here is on this one at this end. This is on this one at the other end. So which way are you going to decide how it is? Well, in this case, we would use the methyl group as like a secondary group to decide this. As this is closer to this end and these 2 carbons are otherwise identical, you would call this one carbon 1. That's 2, 3, 4. So it's butane dash 1, 4, 1, 4 dash diol. And then we put the methyl group, 2-methyl, 2-methyl, 2-methyl butane 1,4-diol. Now to draw this as a skeletal, we draw in the butane 1, 2, 3, 4. Carbon 2 has the methyl group, and then we need to stick the OH groups on at the end. So just do a little line, OH, HO, like that. Now I'd write it HO and OH because you want the oxygen to be attached to the carbon. Remember, carbons in the skeletal structure are only where you have a bend and where a line ends with nothing else. So the carbon would be here, 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 and here. 5 carbons, 4 and 5.